The Gifted Education Program is getting a revamp at the primary school level. I have more questions about this, and I'm going to ask Education Minister Chan Chun Sing to explain it to us. So, Minister, what triggered this change?
Three reasons for this update. First, talent is multidimensional, and we want to allow students with different dimensional abilities to get into programs that can stretch them according to their needs. The second thing is that we know that talent is manifested across time. It doesn't mean that every child will develop at the same pace. It doesn't mean that if you don't get into a program, you won't have the chance to get into the program in subsequent phase of your life. The third and very important thing is that when we develop a child, we hope to develop a child holistically. So it's not just about his or her academic abilities. We also want to provide a stable environment and, as far as possible, not disrupt the environment that the children is growing up in.
Okay, let's talk about the kids now. How are these high ability students identified?
There will be two kinds of assessment. One is what we call a centralized assessment at the MOE level. So this is a bit of a standardized test, pretty much similar to the past, except that in the past you do two standardized tests, and going forward you need to do one. Then the other aspect is that now you will also have greater flexibility for teachers in the respective schools to recommend their students according to their observations. Now, these observations is not just about their academic abilities, it also includes their own social-emotional development.
Okay, so if my child takes the test, for example, and my child doesn't make the cut, what does that mean then?
Well, it means that your child will still have opportunities to try again in future, or it means that maybe that environment is not so suitable for your child. Each and every of our children have their own unique abilities, and as parents, as educators, our primary goal is to help them realize their own potential from their own perspective rather than in comparison with others.
In that case, why do we still even need GEP?
There will always be a need for different programs for different students with different abilities. Well, the Chinese have a saying that says that, if you teach to the average, the high ability students will always find that they are not having their fair share of challenge. And then the higher need students will feel that you are stretching them too much.
But in classifying these students who are more academically gifted, won't it create a sense that some children are more elite than others?
In fact, that is more likely to happen in the old system than in the new system. In the new system, because you are talented, could be in various dimensions, and you learn to respect others who might be talented in other dimensions. Whereas in the past, you might think that, just because I get into this class, I am superior to everyone else in every dimension. And that is furthest from the truth.
But still, there is the possibility that these children will be seen differently by their peers. So how are schools going to make sure that they integrate well, they mix well with their other schoolmates?
So in the new system, without having to concentrate them in certain schools, you will allow actually the students to mix with peers from different abilities much more than previously.
Okay. Give us an idea, for example, a regular class for P4 English. How is it different to a class for those with a higher ability?
For example, someone who has higher abilities for English, they might go beyond the conventional curriculum to explore literature of different genres, of different kinds, and that will spark their interest. And ultimately, all these extra classes are not to prepare them for PSLE or the conventional exams. All these extra classes is to help them to find their niche, boost their interest, and hopefully inspire the joy of learning for the rest of their life.
And Minister, it sounds like a lot more work for teachers. Are they going to get any extra support, if any at all?
Well, I'll share 2 points. One is that the overall load for the teachers will not change very much because we have the ability to distribute the teachers to the different schools according to their different needs. What we hope to do is to be able to work with parents so that we can right-psych the students in the respective classes. We always advise parents not to try to squeeze their kid into any particular class just because other people might be in those classes.
Do you think that all schools or all primary schools are equally ready for the changes?
Yes, because over the last 20 years, we have progressively built up both our capabilities and capacities to cater to the higher ability students. So we have a cadre of teachers that have progressively built up their knowledge, their pedagogies to help our students excel and to stretch them according to their abilities.
So, Minister, if a school, for example, identifies only 2 or 3 high ability students in a particular year, does this model still make sense in terms of resources?
Well, To us, every student is important, and we would like to stretch every student according to their respective abilities. So even if a school is only able to identify 3 or 5 high ability students, we are still able to conduct the classes for them.
And that's all we have for today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching.